Austen and Craig, by the way, is here. You're doing this as Southern Charm reaches a milestone, 10 seasons. What would you go back and tell that Craig 10 years ago?
12 years ago.
Yeah, I started filming when I was 24.
Yeah.
I'm 36 now. I wouldn't change my decision to do the show. You know, it took me a long time to decide, but I'm really happy that I just said, you know what?
I think it all worked out for you.
Let's see. Well, you know, one foot in front of the other. It took me a couple years to really be completely transparent. I wasn't doing it on purpose necessarily. I would just say to trust the process and not be so hard on yourself. I really beat myself up a lot for just like thinking I should have been further along in life or, you know, regret like doing dumb stuff. And I think being kind to yourself is something that I've learned in the last few years. Like Vera Wang didn't make her first dress till she was 46. You know, everyone's gonna mess up, and the more and more I can deal with different groups around the country, you see that like everyone's trauma is different, but we're all dealing with the same emotions.
Everyone's messed up.
Yeah, like everyone's messed up, and like it's okay, and you know, as long as you're trying your best. So just to be a little more kind to myself, probably not hang out with Shep as much, but you know.
The growing pains of the bromance seem to be at the center of this season. The two of you plus Shep.
The that you did in Vegas, you chose to get so up to put yourself in that position.
And you came back and you like doubled down in
That was
Charleston.
after no one would talk to me.
Why did it hit the kind of peak it seemed to hit while filming season 10?
We're all just growing, right? We're all just growing.
Trying, some of us.
Yeah. We're trying to
Well,
grow, we're trying to evolve.
It does seem a little bit like Craig was growing a little faster maybe than you and Shep, and the two of you were like, not so fast, so I don't want to be there yet, is my reading of it.
I mean, I've been asked, you know, this question, and I've had some time to think, and I think that you think about, you know, the good times or the things that we used to do together, let's say, and you like want those things to like be the same maybe. And when they begin to change or something, you're like, no, man, what are you doing, dude? Get back here.
I think they're mourning, you know, as I gave up a part of my life or tried to put it to bed a little bit for everything else, I never recognized that the people who loved that part of me would have to mourn that part of me too. And I think change is scary for everyone. And I'm glad that we can highlight it, you know, on our show that's tracked so much of our lives so far. But with like Shep, you know, cameras started to roll right as he was coming out of the first chapter of him trying to work on himself. I mean, that's the first time we really even saw him since we filmed.
Right, you both
reunion.
entered this season with Shep at an arm's length, which he confronted you about. Where do you exist with him now? Did this season help or hurt the cause?
Well, I don't want to give away too much, Bryce. You know, I don't want to give away too much.
You don't have to tell the whole story, but
He doesn't reside in this country anymore, so that should tell you. He just spent the last month in.
He just got extradited. That tells you anything. It was kind of a thing, right? You know, where, you know, we're keeping Shep at an arm's length, and like we wanted to have that first kind of talk on camera for,
right,
you know, you guys. So
I was surprised by the victim tone that he got in the first episode.
I was a little shocked too.
I want them to understand how much they hurt me, because when I have a problem, for them to say no thank you is beyond anything that I'd ever known about friendship.
I'm very confused with the direction that the show's going. I almost feel like I'm being vilified for trying to better myself, and Shep's getting this platform to be like, if I can convince everyone that I'm okay, that's the key.
have you seen change in him?
I think he's softer. I mean, I really do. I think that he does a few things with more intention, you know, let's say. He softened up. He had a relationship with Taylor, and then when he got out of it, you know, he was like, oh, I'm single again. But then he was kind of like, wait, I love that, and maybe I want to do that again, but do I know how to do that?
Being single
and the
at
answer is, I don't know if
45
he
is
does
different
know.
I think he was
than-
I
happy.
don't know if he does know how to do it.
I think he
Bryce,
was
but we'll see.
happiest with in the relationship, and that's what you
And didn't
see.
realize it till he was out of it, which then we see him jump into this other relationship, from what I can tell, does not go super well.
And I got to say, good Shep is fantastic. Bad Shep is just really bad. And that's what we were trying to say, like, hey man, like you got to figure out how to like put that bad Shep
away.
The show kind of highlights even the three of our friendship, and if we're out and say that he's in like a bad way, do you think that it's just like Shep is in like a bad way over here? No, it's like the Southern Charm Boys are acting a fool, and that's
his
not
stink gets
entirely
on you guys.
It's not entirely, you know, the truth. So I just had never been able to do that before with Shep, and Craig has always been good at doing it. And
Well,
so
because
I
if you
kind of
don't
took like a
set
page out of his, you know, book, and I was like, setting boundaries is, you know, healthy.
The
It is
boundary
healthy.
has to be tough or like they'll continue to get away with it. But I have to give him, one of my MVPs goes to Shep for this season, maybe my main one, because he goes on this journey trying to find what he lost with Taylor, and he lets everyone come
along for the ride.
And he's open and honest and completely transparent about it. And I think that actually brings the three of us together, because we have to start to, you know, like I get to share my long distance relationship with him, which he is starting to enter. And then Austen has like, you know, see some red flags, and like, it really brings us together, I think.
Someone else who brings you together in a different way is JT.
Yeah.
Craig, you lied, and you offended Miss Patricia. You didn't say that word about her.
Yeah, you did. You said she was a bitch at the cup when you handed her the cane.
Craig, you're lying.
We get a flash forward to this big confrontation, I think, in the Bahamas, where you bring up, you called Patricia a bitch.
Yeah.
We don't ever see him say
Yeah,
this
I
word.
can't believe
Did you
that.
invent this memory?
No.
Did he say it off camera?
No, I was sober and they filmed it. I obviously have sent some pretty nasty messages this week. I can't believe that that's what they're focusing on, but
Not to him.
not to
No,
him.
to-
No, to the
to the
people
powers
that made
that
that
be that
decision.
make the
Because
show.
look, here's what I thought was important in that. He said the stuff about Madison having an affair.
No, I just think it's weird that Brett's potentially weird about me.
I don't think
about
Brett thinks
stripes.
that you guys hooked up.
And Austen like not being faithful to his girlfriend.
He's still doing the same
No, they
just not true.
haven't.
That's just
No,
not
they
true.
haven't.
Once he said that like Patricia acted like a bitch when he handed her the cane, I was like, oh my God, you're going after Patricia. And I actually left that hang out twice. You know, Patricia really put a hard line in the sand, talk about boundaries after she heard that. But I didn't have a dog in the fight. You'll see me meet up with JT a couple times this season trying to figure out how to reintegrate him into the friend circle.
What did you make of his resignation from the show before it premiered? And is he trying to get ahead of something by doing that?
Attention seeking, Bryce. I mean, I kind of like, you know, what Craig said, where I didn't know what to expect from him, you know, this season. And I've spoken to Leva, right, about, you know, things that kind of aired.
I met a whole bunch of girls who say they dated Austen.
What's the timeline?
And it was during all that time.
Kind of aired, and I was like, Leva, man, why would you say that? Like, you know that that's not true. You know, she was like, I know lots of girls, you know, that Austen. And I was like, Leva, that is not true. You know, one girl, and that was prior to me and my girlfriend. And then, you know, she has copped to it and said like, I'm sorry. But then to see him just like latch onto that in this scene
We
with like,
thought
two
this
of my
one
best
loved
friends,
gossip.
I was just like, well, right. And, to
And
see
he takes
him
it to a different
My
place.
stuff
latch
always
onto
ended up being
this
true.
Right.
was just like infuriating, and it was like really, really nice to see Craig and Shetman getting my back in that scene.
Do you think
Anyways,
he'll show
this
his
is like, what
face
do you-
at reunion?
Yes.
Okay.
You gotta come tell your side of the story.
Otherwise, we'll tell it for you.
It was a bummer because I will say that like JT, similarly to Shep, like we had fun with him like last year. You know, we would go golfing and stuff, and I was trying to be like, just chill.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have to come in and throw like crazy stuff.
He's like self-producing,
It
trying to
was-
make moments happen.
It didn't make a lot of. Some of it was just disconnected, and yeah, no, I
Hit the wall to see what sticks.
I was
Bryce, is kinda
sober
what we
and,
call
And canes.
it. And canes.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We've got a long ride of a season still to watch. Is there anything that you're particularly excited for the fans to see, or on the flip side, dreading having to relive when it hits TV?
Austen and I have one of the best Southern Charm moments in the history of Southern Charm, probably. At least we have been told by the powers that be.
Give me a little context. What are
don't know if we
we waiting
can.
for?
Yeah,
Is
I
it more
think if you
conspiracy
say-
theories? What's happening?
No, it's a conversation that we have. So like I think that
Like it's a real conversation.
Yeah.
I think it has the
Where
chance
like
to
it
really
finally is like a real, you know, it's like flirting, and then kind of comes to a head.
I think that
okay.
conversation
Finally have it, you know?
could be like really connective to everyone watching. It's pretty great. So I think it'll be really weird to be that emotionally vulnerable.
So it's
on
the double-edged
TV.
sword. You want people to see it, but also having
Yeah, it's gonna be tough to like watch, but we had a conversation that was long overdue.
as a
on
lawyer and a
camera.
storyteller.
Lawyer and a storyteller.
Who knew that Craig would have a quote out of that after that accusation of mine, you know, hurled at him.
You are an embellisher.
I'm a lawyer and a storyteller.
A lot of accusations this year. You know, it's always funny. This to me feels like my second season. Like you put your guard down,
Getting
you're
the villain
"Hey,
at
I
it."
just-" and then all of a sudden they're just like, "You suck, Craig."
Well, you got a nice place to come sink your sorrows
Thank
now.
you.